Yeah, and we are live.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So hi Irina. So today I will be interviewing Irina, who is a GHC scholar, and she's going
Hi.
to tell us a bit about her experiences. So hi Irina.
Hi. Hi, Ravi.
Yeah. So can you let's just start with telling me about yourself, what you're currently doing, where you studied, what are your interests?
Okay. So my name is Irene. I am from Indonesia. I'm currently an undergraduate student at University of Indonesia studying computer science. And I'm also a GHC 2018 scholarship recipient. Um, yeah, and I'm interested in web development, especially front end development. That's what I'm interested in.
Yeah. So, okay, we'll get to your front-end development soon. I have a lot to ask you about that. So, let's just start with how did you know about GHC? Who told you, or how did you get to know about it?
Okay, so I don't really remember how I found out about GHC,
Hmm.
but I subscribe to a lot of uh, women in tech newsletters. Some of them is Women Who Code, and then there is Women Tech Makers.
Mm-hmm.
I subscribed to their newsletter, and also the Anita Borg. And
Okay.
I knew that the registration for the GHC scholarship for this year opened because of I subscribed to the Anita Borg newsletter,
Mm-hmm.
but I knew GHC way before that. So yeah, you can say that I kind of prepared to apply for the scholarship from the year before. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
So now I want to know why GHC? What was in GHC that interested you?
Okay, so first of all,
Hmm.
the most like exciting thing about GAC, especially if getting the GHC scholarship, is
Mm-hmm.
being paid to go to the US. Like
Mm-hmm.
they pay for your flight and everything actually, and going to the US was big when I knew about the scholarship because back then I have never been to the US, and that was the most exciting thing. And then when I researched about GHC, I know that it is a place where thousands of women, especially like women in tech,
Mm-hmm.
people that have the same interest with me, and they will be there, and I can meet them, and that is what I anticipated the most after I knew about GHC. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the first thing that really got me interested was the fact that I can get paid
To go
to
abroad.
yeah to go abroad. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so whatever you anticipated about GHC, did you actually see it there? Was it that big, or was it bigger, or was it not so great, or
It was so big. There are literally like thousands of people,
Mhm.
and there there are a lot of things to do. There are a lot of
Mhm.
talks to attend, and I think going once is not enough because there are a lot of things that you can do, and you cannot do that all in once. Yes, it is that big, and I got more than I expected to get in GHC. Yeah.
Yeah, so Pavani, who told me about you, she also
Mm-hmm.
told me that you got like calls from Facebook and Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. So can you tell me more about that?
Yeah. Okay. So that once I actually got the chance to interview with Facebook and Microsoft, and it was they were actually like I didn't expect to get the interviews at the first place. So yeah, GHC has the resume database, right? So everyone that attends GHC and actually everyone that doesn't attend GHC can submit resume to their database,
Hmm.
and all of the sponsors of GHC will have access to your resume that you submit. And then I submitted my resume to the database, and then about a month to 2 weeks before the conference, I got a interview invitation from Facebook and Microsoft. So for Facebook, I got it first, and it was an invitation for on-site interview. So like directly on-site. And for
Hmm.
Microsoft, I got the invitation to do the phone screen first, and then I did the phone screen about 2 weeks before the conference, and
Mm-hmm.
then 1 week before the conference, I got the news that I have passed the phone screen and will be having my final round at GHC. It is kind of unbelievable because I have like I'm an international student.
Mm-hmm.
I I live and study in Indonesia. I don't study in the US, and usually the opportunity was very small. I know some people, like people from a university, that have already gotten like referrals from other people in the company. So I have a friend, and he got a referral from engineer at Facebook, and
Mm-hmm.
he didn't get the chance to interview, even when his resume is so impressive. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I think like GHC gives like a whole new level of chance. So yeah, even international students like me, they give equal chance for interview. Yeah, and and yeah, I got uh, both of the company's offers. So I will
Mm-hmm.
be having the winter internship starting from January 2019 at Facebook, and the summer internship starting from June at Microsoft. And yeah,
Oh
it's
my
still
God.
yeah, it's still unbelievable as I'm saying this. Like I still cannot believe that I got
Okay,
both
yeah,
internships.
this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Facebook for 6 months and then Microsoft for 6 months. It's like most women in tech have this as their dream, and
Mm-hmm.
you've done it. So I'm sure whoever is watching this would be really, really, what do I say, motivated by you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So coming to your resume,
Mm-hmm.
I saw your resume and I think it is amazing. I don't know how much CSS, I mean, you know a lot of CSS
Mm-hmm.
to make it look so good. So can you tell me more about it? Like, why did you think of not just doing a normal resume? Why did you think of doing something, different, something which looks really good?
Which one? Which resume that you look at? Is it the one at my website? The
Yeah, I think so. Yes, that one.
uh, okay. Uh, for starters, I
Hmm.
love CSS. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, what got me interested in computer science is actually the first time that I code websites. So I touch a lot of CSS, and it was just amazing. And then when making like I was thinking about making like my portfolio, So
Mhm.
the one that you saw is not actually like my resume, but it's more like my portfolio.
Okay.
And yeah, I was thinking like it was just random thoughts like as I could, and I didn't really like make a mock up for it before I made it. And yeah, I'm glad. Like I'm really glad that you think that it is good.
Yeah, it's extremely colorful, and the moment I saw it, I'm like, yes, you're a front-end web developer. Your resume, just by looking at, I mean, your portfolio, just by looking at it, I know you're into front end and you love
Mhm.
designing. You're a UI UX person. I don't even need to read what all you've done. Just by looking at it, I know. So I know why Facebook and Microsoft grabbed you. Um,
Thank
right.
you.
Okay, so coming to the questions about the GHC application. So
Okay.
the first part was the attending the essay questions. So how did you attend the essay questions? Do
Oh,
you
okay.
remember them?
Yeah, I actually like took note of my
Mm-hmm.
essay answers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. So what I remember from it is, mm, I included like my leadership experience at school. Um, and I wrote about making after going to GHC that I'm going to do something with the organization that I'm currently in school. So my organization is a STEM organization. They focus on the members' development and in computer science. So, for example, we have the web development division, which I'm in, and there is like another in competitive programming division. So it is like very technical organization where we like learn in it. And I include like I mentioned that organization a lot in my essay answers. And yeah, I think that is the main point. Like I think I got the scholarship because of my involvement in that organization, and that
Okay.
I include that in my essay answers.
Okay. So this organization is the one that you're heading, and there are these 10 people, and you do all web development, CSS
Uh,
things. That
yes,
one? Okay, cool.
yeah.
So, since you're talking about the organization, can you share more about it? Like, what all are the things you do in it? How long, how many meetings do you have, or how do you do the whole thing?
Okay. So my role in the organization is I am the head of the web development division.
Mm-hmm.
So in that division, in every division, actually, in that organization, we have the senior members and junior members. Senior members are the members that uh, are supposed to teach the junior members. So they actually have prior knowledge before joining the organization. And yeah, I'm one of the senior members. So besides leading the team and um, like directing where that the team will go.
Mm-hmm.
I also curate materials for the junior members to study, and it is around web development. And we do projects too, and usually I am like the project leader every time that we do projects. And yeah, basically
Oh,
that.
wow. Yeah, okay. So this is a very good initiative so that when you pass out, they would become the heads and they would teach their juniors. It's like this cycle, isn't it? So that is
Yes.
like a very positive thing. You take and you give back.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's wonderful. All right.
Thank you.
So the next thing. So the application consists of four things, I think. So one was the essay that we covered.
Mhm.
Then That was your resume. We did that.
Mhm.
I mean, your portfolio. And then was okay. So the third thing is your recommendation. So,
Yes.
whom did you choose as your recommender, and how well did you know your recommender?
Okay. So for my recommender, I don't actually. I'm not like really close to this professor. I
Mm-hmm.
choose this professor. He taught me in class web programming and the web design and programming. So it is something that I feel that I'm good at, and at that subject I got an A.
Oh
So if
wow.
yeah, even though that I was not really close to him, uh, I I sent him an email. So in my university, like every communication is through email. So it is not like something impolite to ask for something through email. Yeah, it depends. Like if it is appropriate in your university, it is more appropriate to meet the professor directly. So do that. Yeah, I did email my professor asking if he will be able to give me a recommendation. In the letter, I mentioned that I attended his class and got an A. And so he was like really nice. He replied back immediately and said that I will give you the recommendation. Just tell me the details. And yeah, I've I told him the details, and uh, in the dates that uh, very near the deadlines, I followed up with him. Um, so that he didn't miss the deadline. Yeah, he was really nice, even though I was not really close to him. I'm
I
very
get.
lucky. Yeah.
Yeah. You were meant to go for GHC. That is what happened.
Thank you.
All right. So, okay. So, the last thing I want to know about GHC is that how important do you think your grades were? Did they really play a role? Were they important or it doesn't matter?
Mm, I think it plays a role, but it is not the most important thing that the screener see. Um, my grade is not bad, but it's not exceptionally good either. I
Mm-hmm.
think the most influencing thing that got me accepted for the scholarship is uh, my role in the organization that I mentioned. Yeah, so actually, like, I knew the GHC scholarship, like I mentioned, a year before the registration began.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually had a year, and getting this scholarship is actually one of my motivations to be active in the organization. So yeah, if there is any organization in your campus that focuses on STEM and you want to get the GHC scholarship, an active involvement in the organization is actually more important. I think is more important than academic achievement. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Okay. So, what would you like to tell the girls who are going to apply for GHC? Do you have anything to tell them?
Yeah. So the GHC is very big,
Mm-hmm.
and probably you will have. There are a lot of people that apply, but uh, do not ever like feel down. Like I'm not as good as this girl who applies, or I'm not as good as her. Just try because you'll never know. And you have many months left before the registration. Make sure that you build up your resume. And lastly, if you get accepted, this will be your greatest chance in getting either internship or full-time jobs in big tech companies. So make sure that you prepare well for the interviews because the chance is so big and you do not want to miss it. Yeah.
That's really wonderful what you just said. I'm sure it's going to be inspiration even for me when I would be applying. I'm sure, okay, whatever you said, I'll definitely keep in mind. Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
awesome.
So you have something else to say?
Um, no, actually, I don't know
All
anything
right.
else to
So I
say.
thought you were going to say something.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
So, okay. So about going abroad, how did your
Mhm.
parents, are you staying with your parents right now?
Yes.
Yeah. So how was their reaction on you going abroad alone on your own? Were they okay with it? Um,
Uh, at first, when I announced to them, they are as excited as I was.
mm,
But as it gets near to the conference date, uh, my mom was like the one that is super busy. I
mhm.
never went abroad alone, so yeah, she kept worrying about me. But I mean, it was not something just like don't go something like that. It's not. It's just that she keeps on reminding me, don't forget this, don't forget that, and things like that. Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, every I think every parents will be happy for their children to get uh, this kind of chance. So yeah, I believe that every parents would will understand and get excited with you.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So about your blog, so I read your blog and it was as creative and as amazing as your portfolio. Okay. Really, I'm really impressed. You're like this really creative, artistic person in my mind right now.
Thank
All right.
you.
So, what are these picks actually? Your daily picks? How do you, like you wrote that you find out about them through this podcast that you're hearing, which is Front End Happy Hour podcast. So, can you tell me more about that?
Yeah. So I'm kind of regretting that I don't update my blog often because I mean I thought no one is going to read it, but actually you did. Yeah,
Okay.
so I started that blog actually out of curiosity for the stack. So for that blog, I used Gatsby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of like a modern JavaScript kind of blog maker. So I was just like curious about that. And then, yeah, I listen to podcasts a lot because I think it's source of a lot of information, especially the front end happy hour channel. I really like it because I mean I like front end and the podcast talks a lot about the front end stuff like the newest technologies, but they also talk about the situations in workplace, how about recruiting and yeah. And then in that section, in that podcast, every episode they will have like this picks section. So they
Mm-hmm.
will tell the listener about or the new thing that they discover in the week. So I was inspired by that, and I wanted to. And one of the motivation is I wanted to get motivated to find the new technologies and things that will be interesting because I want to share it in that blog. But yeah, I kind of regret it right now because I don't update it again.
Okay, I guess you didn't have enough time to do it. Maybe that's why.
Yeah. Mhm.
All right. So, okay, so you have your blog, the whole blog on GitHub, the code. So, does that mean you're like an open source lover? Could I say
Um,
that?
I love open source, but I really want to be a contributor, but I have never really found like a project or the time that I can spend to contribute to the open source. So probably like my next goal is to contribute to open source. But yeah, I love
Definitely, you
open
should write about it so that I can read about it and get more inspired. Yeah. All
Definitely,
right.
yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. So where did you learn all the CSS and JavaScript from? Was it like YouTube or some particular book? Or was it like this club and your seniors taught you? Was it that way?
Mhm. I learned a lot of things that I know now from doing a lot of projects. Like I was involved in organizations, and then the uh, I was a staff of this event in my campus, and that I was a staff that uh, in a team that creates the website. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of the start where I knew a lot of stuff from joining that event. So yeah, I think the best way of learning something is by doing. I really recommend to get involved in like a lot of projects because it really helps you, because when you have a deadline, when you're in the project, you have a deadline. And when you have a deadline, you kind of like do not have a choice but to, I didn't know this, but I have to know this because of this deadline. So yeah, definitely get involved in projects to learn stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's true words. If there's a deadline, you would definitely do
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So learn by doing. Okay, so I also saw that there is this thing called Pocket. I really don't know what it is, so it would be great
um,
if you could share some light on that.
okay, so Pocket is actually something that uh, you have for yourself actually. So it is a web extension. So you have it in your browser, and when you find like good articles or a good web page, you can save it. Like with a click in that browser extension, you can save it, and then it will sync in all of the devices that you have, and you can read it that content offline. So usually I save like uh, interesting articles or interesting repositories, GitHub repositories that I found, but didn't have enough time that time to explore more about it. So yeah, I save it in the Pocket, and it's also shareable. So yeah, I put it in my portfolio because you can uh, to share what I save, like the interesting articles that I save in that Pocket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the articles were very interesting. Like one of them was what we get wrong about technology. So
Mm-hmm.
very interesting articles. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Then talking about, okay, so now I'm going to ask you about, so there was this BNCC hackathon that
Oh,
you
okay.
participated in. So what was the hackathon about actually?
Um, so the hackathon was, they have a lot of topics to choose from, and it was not centered in one topic. They have a lot of topics, but the main focus is to help industries and companies. So the topic that I chose for that hackathon is to uh, compensate people more fairly based on contribution. So what I made in that hackathon is I made something like a dashboard for human resource team,
Hmm.
and it is connected to a Trello board. So I did integration with Trello, and when someone checks off his task in Trello, he will get like points, and it will contribute to their compensation uh, contribution points, something like that. So I make like a system to calculate whether this person actually contributes a lot to the team or not. So they different people with different contribution can be paid fairly. So yeah, that's basically what I built in that hackathon.
Oh, wow. Okay. Really interesting. Yeah. So you even got like were there prizes and things like that, or was it?
Yeah, there were prizes. It is not that big though. It was 5 million rupees for one team. It's 5 million rupees is roughly like $350 US dollars. So yeah, it's not that big for a team, but it was great because I got to join the hackathon with my team in the web development team that I talk about. And yeah, we had a good time, coding, but we had fun. We didn't actually, think a lot about the product that we're going to build. We're just like, you know what, we're going to do this. Like, yeah, code together, didn't sleep. Like, it was fun.
Yeah, hackathons are fun that way. You don't have
Mhm.
to sleep the whole night, and you can play games and things like that,
Yeah.
not just code. Yeah.
Hmm.
So that was that for like your first hackathon?
It was not my first hackathon,
Okay.
but for my team, like, it was their first hackathon.
All right.
Mhm.
Great. Yeah. So there was something I also read about you being there in a lot of volunteering experience with the Leo clubs. So what exactly is Leo clubs?
Okay. So, uh, actually, I am not active in that club anymore, but I
Mhm.
was active when I was in high school. So,
Mhm.
Leo Club is actually an international organization. If you have ever heard about Lions Club,
Yeah.
yeah, it is actually the parent of Leo. So,
Okay.
Lions they collect money by their own. So if they do fundraising, they actually like one person gives their his or her own money for that event, and they do social events like helping people in after a disaster and things like that. But for Leo, when we do fundraising, we do it by selling used clothes and then selling shirts. So it is not from our own money. And it is the same. We do social events. I participated in one that we um, hold a run event. So it's a 5K run event. And the money that is collected through that event, we donated it um, to build a better water system in like um, a little area near Jakarta. So yeah, it's kind of the volunteering is raising money, do fundraising, and then donate it to a cause. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay,
Mhm.
so one last question for you for today's interview. I think I've asked a lot of questions. So the last one, I just want to know what are your future plans? What are you planning to do after your internships at Facebook and Microsoft? What after that? Have you thought of that? Or
I the only thing that I'm very sure is after I graduate, I will not be immediately in school again. So I haven't really thought about doing masters or that.
Mhm.
So yeah, I was thinking about doing work, whether it is right here in Indonesia or if I will be seeking opportunities outside of my country. I haven't really decided on it. So
Mhm.
yeah, what I've decided to do is I'm going to work, and I want to be a software engineer, and yeah, because that's the thing that I like. Yeah.
All right, that's great. So thank you so much for doing this interview. It really means a lot. And I'm
Thank
sure
you.
everybody is going to be really, really motivated and inspired by you. Um, yeah, thank you so much. I had a wonderful time.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you. Yeah.